Hey everybody, welcome to Chart of the Day, and you're speaking to Simon, or listening to me, should I say. And we're doing Chart of the Day for the 26th, 27th of November 2017. Hope everybody is okay. We've definitely been riding some really intense storms over the last couple of days, especially with the moon's transit. But before I get into Chart of the Day, I just want to remind everybody that's interested in studying astrology with me. On the 10th of December, I will be starting a foundation class, astrology. This will be a 6-week intensive, and we'll teach you the 12 archetypes from an evolutionary perspective, the essence of the archetype, and we'll be teaching about Pluto and the nodes. And by the end of the course, you'd be able to have an idea of how to read a chart from the perspective of Pluto and its nodal axis, and to have obviously the 12 archetypes. So if you're interested in that, you can contact me via email, or you just click on the link below to sign up. I do payment plans, and I'm happy to offer them to anybody that's interested in wanting to do that. What else do I have to share? The last thing about the class as well is that I do help you read your own chart through the time that we're together. So it's another way to actually learn how your own chart is working during that period of time. Okay. What else? That's about it. So chart of the day, let's see what we're dealing with here. So the first thing that I want to bring our attention to is, of course, the transit of the moon. As you can see on the chart, there's the moon, it's conjunct Neptune. And this is actually for tomorrow, the 27th, November the 27th. And so the moon will be before Neptune when you're actually watching this. So it's still going to go over Neptune. Some of us might be sleeping like myself. The rest of the world might be waking up, like in Australia and Asia and stuff. So what has the moon been doing over the last couple of days? You can see that it's actually been moving over Pluto. I think it moved over Pluto on Friday or Thursday. It went over Pluto on Thursday. And that was a big deal because it made a square to Mars at 22 degrees Libra. And of course, that square was activated because not only is the square to Pluto existing, but Mars is also opposing Uranus, and Uranus is square to Pluto. So there was a big change. There was a big shift. There was a big uproar of emotion that came to the surface regarding that time. And of course, this is a time of detoxing a lot of emotional conflict and complexes and unhealthiness that exists within our body. And you can see that within the context of the symbolism over here, both Jupiter and Scorpio, pardon me, both Jupiter and Venus are being ruled by Pluto, which is in Capricorn, and Pluto is being ruled by Saturn, which is there in Sagittarius. So you can see that the nature of what has come up for us has to do with our belief systems. It has to do with the psychological and emotional attachments that we've had to prior life or early life imprinting that affected us in some way, and that we keep replaying out and out and out and out. Which reminds me, by the way, in the coming future, I will be creating a video on a recent insight and awareness that was coming through to me around the nature of karma, which was really, really cool. So I'm going to be doing that at some point as well, just helping us really get connected with why astrology can be such a powerful tool, and that learning it is really helpful because once you start to develop a relationship to these symbols and you understand your psyche, i.e. your emotional development through these symbols, you'll actually start to see that this brings up huge potential for us to not only heal ourselves, but for us to be able to get connected with a deeper sense of who we are. So with Saturn being, of course, the ruler of Pluto, and Pluto being the ruler of your Jupiter, Venus, and the moon transiting over that Pluto on Thursday, you can see that, you know, a lot of stuff was brought to the surface around confronting our limitations. So then the moon moved over Aquarius, or should I say into Aquarius, and over the south node, and that would have happened on Saturday or Friday, Saturday. And so what we're dealing with here, and the early hours of course Sunday, for depending on who and where you are in the world, Now, this is interesting because the moon moving over the south node would have activated the Uranian energy, which would have brought a lot of the insights and the needs to want to break free and decondition ourselves. So what you have is the Pluto transit bringing it all to the surface, and then Uranian energy saying, okay, let's objectify that process, let's break away from that process, let's liberate ourselves from those things. And now that the moon has moved into Pisces and moving over Neptune, of course, it's bringing to us the capacity for healing, which is to integrate those parts of ourselves that have been traumatized, those parts of ourselves that have been affected, and to holistically allow ourselves to heal through that process, to forgive the parts of ourselves that have been wounded in the early parts of our lives, and to really go through the necessary emotional healing layers that are important for us to go through. So forgiveness, as an example, is a 7-stage process where we allow ourselves to acknowledge, firstly, that this whatever event has happened to us, or we have been influencing a certain event, allowing us to recognize the ramifications that occurred through us and through the other person, and how those dynamics were taking place, as an example of really getting connected with exploring the emotions that are around those types of experiences, so that we can heal that. And I think it's a really important aspect with the moon being over Neptune and eventually going to be moving over Chiron within the next 2 days, and making a trine to Venus, the moon trining Venus in Scorpio, is that in order for us to be able to heal ourselves, it doesn't come through a kind of mental process. It's really connecting with the emotions. And you can see there's a picture on the left hand side over there that I've chosen not only for this video but for the moon, the new moon in Scorpio, that we're learning how to merge together the parts of ourselves that have been affected in a way that's damaging to us, and we're looking to heal that. We're looking to embrace that. So the more that we allow compassion to ourselves, i.e. inwardly within ourselves, regarding our pain and our suffering, the greater our capacity to embrace the emotions that arise out of allowing ourselves to feel the pain that was occurring, versus rejecting it. And this is something that's not really new, but it is a great way to really get connected with the most recent couple of days that have been taking place for us. I know definitely for myself, I've been working with learning how to accept prior life dynamics of shame around certain desires, and my soul carries, and wanting to feel that those are okay. So I think that the moon plays a very big role in this process here, and you can see that the sun has moved into Sagittarius. That was a couple of days ago, so we've got a 5-degree sun in Sag, and at the end of the day, the sun's transit through Sagittarius is really just going to illuminate to us what I've been sharing here, which is this capacity for us to really see how our belief systems and the perception of reality that we experienced at the time of any event that was traumatic, or any event that was, that we couldn't process or understand, that it's an opportunity here to bring them to the surface and analyze it, and to observe the dynamics, and to see the narrative, and to allow ourselves to then break free from the embeddedness that has occurred within our psyche, so that we begin to change patterns. Okay. So yeah, I feel really inspired about that message today. I really hope that hits home with everybody. As always, please write in the comments below regarding your own stories. I'd be, I'm happy to read them, and hopefully you can respond. For any of you that are interested in learning how this is actually working in your own personal chart, of course, I've got all my services that you can check out. And don't forget, on the 10th of this of December, there is a foundation class astrology that's beginning. So get in contact with me if you're interested in doing that. I think I'm gonna really want to get a good class together, so that we can learn throughout the next month or so. Other than that, guys, have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll speak to you super soon regarding another video. Other than that, take care. Bye bye.